The film begins with an old man dragging a woman down a quiet street in a neighborhood in Detroit. Then, it flashes back to a time before this event and shows three troublemaking teenagers planning to rob a house that people have just left. One of the teens, a boy named Alex, tells his friends not to take cash and to only steal items worth less than $10,000. He says that if they steal more than that, they could be charged with grand robbery and face life in prison. Hearing this, Alex's friend named Rocky takes some jewelry, expensive shoes, and clothes, while another friend, Money, grabs a laptop and an expensive watch. After the robbery, Alex breaks a window to set off the alarm, so the police don't suspect them because they used a key to get into the house. On their way home, Rocky tells Alex that she and Money, her boyfriend, plan to move to California right away. Alex asks when they will come back, but Rocky says they will never return to Detroit and suggests that Alex should come with them to California. When Alex got home, he put the key he used to break into the house back in his dad's desk drawer. Alex's dad worked for a security company and had spare keys from their clients. Alex was using these keys to rob houses, even though his dad really cared about him. Meanwhile, Money was unhappy because he sold the stolen goods to a guy named Raul for a very low price. At that time, Raul suggested that if Money wanted more money, he should steal cash. He also told Money about a house owned by an old war veteran. After hearing this, Money told Alex and Rocky about the veteran's house. Money said that the house was also protected by Alex's dad's security company, and the owner was a lonely old soldier with no family. Alex pointed out that the area was like a ghost town, with hardly anyone living there. Rocky added that the house looked abandoned, as if no one lived there except the old soldier. Money then mentioned that the old soldier had a daughter who died in an accident caused by a rich girl. To avoid jail, the rich girl's family paid the soldier $300,000 in cash as compensation. Upon hearing that, Money was excited about robbing the old soldier, but Alex reminded them not to steal cash, especially more than $10,000, because they could end up in prison for 10 years. Alex also didn't want to cause trouble for his dad, so he decided not to go along with the robbery and told his friends he wouldn't do it. A bit later, Rocky is at home with his mom and younger sister, Diddy. Rocky wants to move to California with Diddy because their mom doesn't care about them and only thinks about herself. She even lets her unemployed boyfriend live with them and expects Rocky to take care of everything. Then, Rocky gets a text from Alex saying he agrees to rob the old soldier's house. Excited, Rocky promises Diddy that they'll move to California so Diddy can pursue her dream of becoming a surfer. Soon after, Money and his friends start their plan by checking out the neighborhood where the old soldier lives. The area is very quiet with most houses damaged or falling apart, except for the soldier's house, which looks strong and well kept. There, they notice that no one else lives nearby, which is good for them because it means the police won't patrol there. Money also mentions that the old soldier hasn't left his house for 5 days, but they plan to drug him anyway, so it doesn't worry them. While discussing their plan in the car, they're startled by the old soldier's barking dog. The soldier comes out and calls his dog, and they realize he's blind. Alex feels bad about robbing a blind man, but Money thinks this will make their plan easier. They're determined to carry out the robbery that night. At 2 in the morning, Alex and his friends started their robbery by drugging the barking dog to keep it quiet. When Money tried to open the front door, he told Alex they needed 4 keys, but Alex said his dad only had one. Since they couldn't get in through the front or side doors, Rocky decided to break a window to get inside. Once in, she turned off the alarm and opened the door for Alex and Money, telling them to come in and take off their shoes. Inside the house, they began searching for the old soldier's hidden cash. At that time, Money went upstairs and found the soldier, Norman, asleep. He put a bottle of sleeping gas in Norman's room to drug him. Unexpectedly, Norman woke up, sensing Money's presence. At that time, Money stayed still as Norman turned off the TV. Fortunately, Norman lay back down, allowing Money to place the bottle on the floor and leave the room quickly. They then found a locked door with a padlock and thought the money might be inside. Money tried to break it open with a crowbar but failed, so he took out a gun. Alex was surprised to see the gun, but Money said he brought it because Norman was a former soldier. Alex was upset because carrying a gun during a robbery would give Norman the right to shoot them. At that time, Alex, not wanting to be part of the robbery anymore, tried to convince Rocky to leave with him, but she refused and decided to continue with the robbery. Soon after, Money shot the padlock on the door and managed to open it. But right then, Norman appeared. To cover up, Money pretended to be a drunk who had wandered into the house by mistake. However, Norman stepped on the padlock hinge on the floor and realized Money was lying. Then, Money pointed his gun at Norman and fired a warning shot when he moved closer. But Norman attacked Money, trying to take the gun and strangling him. Knowing how tough Norman was, Money begged for his life. There, Norman asked if Money had anyone with him, and Money lied, saying he was alone. After hearing that, Norman seemed to relax and let go of Money. On the other hand, Rocky, who saw this, felt relieved, but then Norman unexpectedly killed Money right in front of her. Shocked and heartbroken, Rocky hid in a cupboard, silently mourning Money's death. Meanwhile, Alex, hearing the gunshot, decided to go back inside and almost bumped into Norman in the hallway. Realizing someone had broken into his house, he locked all the doors and windows, trapping Alex and Rocky inside. Alex then got a text from Rocky, telling him that Norman had killed Money and she was hiding in the cupboard. Not long after, Norman went to the cupboard where Rocky was hiding and accidentally showed her the location of the safe. He was checking the cash inside, and Rocky memorized the code, planning to steal the money. Soon, Alex found Rocky and suggested they leave the house right away and call the police. But Rocky opened the safe and took all the money. Alex guessed there was over $1 million in the safe, but Rocky was focused on getting out of the house quickly. Then, he suggested they escape through the cellar. As Rocky moved towards the cellar door, Norman appeared, dragging Money's body. Alex accidentally made the floor creak, alerting Norman, who pointed his gun at them, even though he couldn't see them. At that time, Alex and Rocky were very nervous, especially when Money's phone started vibrating, making a noise that caught Norman's attention. Luckily, he didn't see them, so they quickly rushed into the cellar. While Alex and Rocky tried to find a way out through the dark, stuffy cellar, Norman found their shoes in the kitchen and realized that Money wasn't alone. When Norman realized his money was stolen, he rushed to check his safe. Meanwhile, Alex and Rocky were shocked to find a young woman held captive in the basement. She tried to ask for help, even though she had tape over her mouth. Upstairs, Norman realized where they were because a bell connected to the woman's ropes rang. The woman handed Rocky a torn newspaper, revealing she was Cindy, the person who accidentally killed Norman's daughter. Cindy pointed to the safe where Norman kept the key to her handcuffs. After freeing Cindy, they hurried to the door leading outside, but it was padlocked. At that time, Alex tried to open it with the keys they had. Just as the door opened, Norman appeared and fired several shots. One shot injured Alex's ear and destroyed Rocky's phone. Tragically, Norman accidentally shot and killed Cindy. He looked heartbroken, showing that Cindy was important to him. As Norman locked the basement door, Alex told Rocky they should escape through the front door using the key from the safe. Suddenly, Norman turned off the lights, plunging the place into complete darkness to make their escape harder. While Rocky was sneaking around in the dark, he almost bumped into Norman. Luckily, Alex shouted, distracting Norman, who fired a shot into the darkness. At that moment, Alex, who was searching for Rocky, was suddenly grabbed by Norman from the side. There, he fought back by knocking over a nearby iron rack, which knocked Norman unconscious. Soon after, Alex ran to Rocky to help her. When they reached the ground floor, Norman's dog, no longer under the effects of the anesthetic, started chasing them. There, Alex gave the keys to Rocky and told her to open the front door while he distracted the dog. But then Norman woke up and tried to break down the door, so they fled upstairs. Hiding in a room, they saw Norman enter his room to get a gun hidden under the bed. Knowing Norman was trying to break into their room, Alex told Rocky to escape through the air vent while he held the door. At that time, Alex couldn't hold off Norman for long, and he managed to break down the door, letting his dog attack Alex. The attack caused Alex to fall out a window and land on a cracked skylight. He tried to stay still to avoid breaking the glass, but Norman fired a shot, causing the glass to shatter. While Rocky was crawling through the air vent, Norman's dog appeared behind her, causing her to fall into a dark hole. Meanwhile, Alex, trying to find a way out, was caught by Norman. There, Alex fought back with an axe, but Norman quickly overpowered him and beat him up. With Alex seriously injured and unable to fight back, Norman stabbed him with a pair of garden shears. At the same time, Rocky was trying to escape through the air vent. Then, she was pulled out by Norman in the living room. At that time, he beat Rocky and strangled her until she passed out, then locked her in the cellar where he had kept Cindy. Norman then revealed that he had kidnapped Cindy and made her pregnant to replace the child he lost when she accidentally killed his daughter. He blamed Rocky and her friends for Cindy's death and her unborn child's death, saying they would still be alive if they hadn't broken into his house. On the other hand, Alex survived because Norman had actually stabbed Money's body with the garden shears, not Alex. While Alex tries to open the front door, Norman is preparing to artificially inseminate Rocky. He explains that he never raped Cindy and had promised to let her go if she gave birth to his child. He plans to do the same to Rocky, but she fights back. Just in time, Alex arrives to save Rocky and attacks Norman. They handcuff Norman and get ready to escape through the front door. As Alex opens the door, Norman shoots him, killing him. At the same time, Rocky runs out of the house, but Norman's dog chases her. She traps the dog in the trunk of her car. As she tries to leave, Norman appears and hits her on the head, dragging her back to the house, just like at the beginning of the movie. Inside, Rocky finds the alarm remote and activates it to call the police. The loud alarm overwhelms Norman, hurting his ears. At that moment, Rocky uses this chance to attack him with a crowbar, pushing him into the cellar. As he falls, his gun fires, hitting him. Thinking he's dead, Rocky escapes just before the police arrive. Later, Rocky and Diddy see a news report about the incident. On the other hand, Norman, now in the hospital and in stable condition, is reported to have killed 2 intruders, Alex and Money, in self-defense. He doesn't mention Rocky, Cindy, or the stolen cash. Feeling relieved, Rocky and Diddy board a train to Los Angeles, planning to start a new life with the money Rocky took from Norman. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is sometimes robbing a blind old man's house can turn into a horror show, so maybe stick to earning money the normal way. Plus, remember, always check if there's a crazy dog and an alarm remote before you start any heist.